I told y'all, he ain't no Jay-Z. He just greasy. I told y'all, he ain't no Jay-Z. He just greasy. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this spooktacular Spinsterella story. Pick up your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. A pair of proposed casinos from rapper Jay-Z were turned down in committee and won't be moving forward.
Well, it's a bust. The Jay-Z-backed plan to put a casino in Times Square voted down by the Community Advisory Panel.
But New York State is still planning on awarding 3 downstate casino licenses. Aziza Schuler joins us now in studio with a look at what is next. Aziza.
Well, Mary and Chris, all bets are not off for this proposal, especially for New York City. Now it becomes a game of which developers can play their cards right and win over communities in other parts of the city for the 3 downstate casino licenses. They include a United Nations site on the east side of Manhattan, Coney Island in Brooklyn, 2 locations in Queens, Ferry Point in the Bronx, and Yonkers Raceway in Westchester. But as we've seen with the Times Square and Hudson Yards proposals, the promises of benefits for local businesses, thousands of jobs, and billions in taxes still resulted in the local community advisory committee in both respective areas rejecting the plan.
We've heard overwhelmingly from residents from Manhattan Plaza to Midtown, even small businesses around, emailing, calling us, over 1,000 emails and phone calls saying they did not want this to be the economic driver in our district.
It's just very disappointing after working 2.5 months with the CAC and over 2 years with various constituents to put forth a proposal that we thought took into consideration everything that the elected officials wanted, the community board, and the hundreds of community residents that we met with.
So the rule is if a project cannot clear its community committee, it won't move forward. Committees are required to vote on their respective projects by September 30th.
So we will know soon.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
Not done yet.
All right, and welcome to CBS
Thank
News
you
New
so
York.
much.
It's so good to have you
So
here.
good to be here. I was in Philadelphia with CBS News there, and I love being with the company.
And this is your first trip to New York. I'm kidding. You're St. John. St.
No,
John's,
I'm a
right? So
Johnny.
you know the area.
Johnny. I love
Back
Queens,
home.
New York. I live in the Bronx now, so
Awesome.
very much.
Good to have you with
Welcome
us.
back home.
Really good to have you
Thank
with us.
you.
Okay.
Now, according to reports, this pair of casinos was proposed by rapper Jay-Z, who I like to call Greasy, to be placed in the neighborhoods of Times Square and in the Hudson Yards area near the Jacob Javits Convention Center. Now, what Greasy really wanted to do was go out here and think that he could go out here and make money on these casinos. However, many of the white residents were not going for Greasy's plan because Greasy's plan was coming into their neighborhoods and was going to drastically ruin their quality of life. Now, when it comes to these casinos are not places that people want to go out here and bring their families and children to. No, they're vestiges of an area being extremely desperate, and usually when you have casinos, what it attracts are the lowest forms of life as related to human beings, and these individuals basically can bring down an area like Times Square back to the dark days of the 1970s, where it was littered with adult theaters and strip clubs, and a lot of people don't want to see Times Square turned into that type of sewer once more. And that's why many people in New York who lived in those neighborhoods like Times Square and the Hudson Yards really didn't want to see these casinos come out here and be built. No, they didn't want to see those casinos be built because the quality of life in the neighborhood would go into a drastic decline, which would take us right back to the dark days of the 1970s and 1980s and early 1990s. I grew up in those areas, going to school at Park West, and saw the seediness of that type of area from those adult theaters. I mean, coming out of the A train on 8th Avenue, I would come out to an adult theater, and there were many adult theaters along Times Square. And a lot of people don't want to go back to that era, so that's why there was such vehement protest as related to the proposal to bring the casinos there, because again, when it comes down to these places, just like Kool G Rap said in his song, a gambling spot is a poor man's jackpot, and when you win on the lot, you get shot. And in that song, what G-Rap is trying to tell you is that when it comes down to the gambling spot is a place where you get these, again, low-grade individuals, and when they can't win at the gambling spot, they will be out here waiting on the side watching people play, and as they watch people play and get a payday as related to the rigged games of gambling, what they do is when they see that person getting some money, they're going to go out here thinking about doing a robbery on that individual. And that's going to lead to an increase in crime in areas like Times Square. I mean, Times Square, after, again, 100 years of a bad reputation, is finally getting a reputation for being a place for families and children, that anybody can go. I mean, yes, there are the topless women who come around now and again, but it's not as seedy as it was when I was growing up in the 80s. I mean, when I was growing up in the 80s, I mean, it was one of the seediest places. I mean, you just basically needed a shower after coming down there. And what's really sad is we've got one of these rappers, Greasy, basically out here trying to make the place just as greasy as it was during those dark days of the 1970s, 1980s, and early 1990s, because for Greasy, it's all about him getting his pay and not about anybody out here. But what happened here is that he basically did what Sean Diddy Combs did when he went out here and sued the Ciroc people. He basically stepped on the toes of many of these white folks, and as he stepped on the toes of those white folks, that's another reason why this proposal basically went nowhere, because they wasn't about to stand to see no black person go out here and be making money like them, and again think that they were going to be somebody in their business circles. No, they wasn't going to stand to see no black person be in their circles, even though Greasy is a sellout and an Uncle Tom to the highest levels. Again, they didn't care, when it came down to them as related to their system of white supremacy, as it came down to their system of white supremacy, the thing that offended them the most was this black man having the audacity to think he could come into their neighborhood, again, Times Square, their neighborhoods of the Hudson yards, where they have places like the Javits Center, and come and think you gonna come in here and make money on our backs. No, when it came down to those white racists, again, they wasn't about to have no black person go out here getting in their business, and that's why they wound up, again, killing. Part of the reason why they killed this proposal, I mean, they basically killed this proposal because, again, you got a black man coming into a predominantly white area, again, thinking he's going to be a power player, thinking he's going to go out here and again go out here and make money like white people. And that's the thing that really, I believe, peeved a lot of those white business owners, peeved a lot of those white businessmen, was seeing this black man going out here coming to their table to bring vice to their communities the way they brought vice to our communities in the form of drugs and prostitution and all other sorts of crimes. And these people got upset because they reaped what they sowed from one of their own black bootlicks. And again, they wanted to show him quietly, we're going to put you in your place, Mr. Jay-Z, and let you know how business is done. Now, when it comes down to casinos, it's not really as profitable a business as a lot of people want to think. I mean, I'm hearing horror stories right now about Las Vegas right now, because Las Vegas was the capital of gambling spots where people went looking for poor man's jackpots. And now that city basically is a ghost town because people just can't afford to come there to get quick and easy money from the casinos as related to their rigged games, because what people, they just can't afford to go to these hotels and these casinos because it costs thousands of dollars a night, and the average everyday American just can't afford a vacation in Vegas like they used to in the 80s and the 90s. I mean, back in the day, going to a casino basically was pretty cheap. And again, the prospect of possibly making a few dollars as related to those rigged games, because what those casinos will do is let you win a couple of times if you're new in town, hoping to get you hooked on spending money. And then if they can get you hooked enough, they know they can make some money off you. So it was a good deal for Vegas, but then Vegas's head started getting gas, just like here in New York, people getting the head gas thinking the place is worth more than what it is. And now that they're catering to millionaires, the money ain't coming in, because money, when it comes down to a casino, it comes from, again, those seedy individuals looking for that fast dollar. Again, these guys are working the security guard jobs and the other low-level jobs, or they're working the office jobs, and they basically come to these casinos looking for a fast dollar. And again, if they can't afford to buy in, you can't afford to cash out on them. And that's what happened to Las Vegas, again, the capital of casinos. But if you want to go even further to see the decline of casinos in America, go no further than Atlantic City, New Jersey, the home of the Orange Man and the many casinos he had that basically went completely under. I mean, Atlantic City basically is a dead zone right now. I mean, it had tons of casinos, but now basically a lot of the Orange Man's casinos have been demolished and are in ruin, and are basically parking lots or in ruins right now. And many of the other casinos are barely limping along, if they are even going on right now. I mean, the gambling business is not a good business to be in. I mean, back in the day, yeah, it was, because it was cheap to buy in, and the company and the casino owners could cash out very easily on poor, gullible individuals. But these days, basically, most people just would rather go to the local CeeLo game in the basement of their apartment building and go roll them dice. Again, you can get the same type of experience, and again, the same type of seedy individual is at them games. And again, nobody wants to see these individuals come back to Times Square. No, nobody want to see these type of dudes or those type of chicks who are basically prostitutes. Again, when you have gambling, you don't get quality people come into your city. You know, you don't get quality people come into your city. And again, the money that you make is not even that much money. I mean, it's not like the 80s. Again, a lot of these guys coming up with these proposals for casinos don't even know that the game has basically changed. And again, the gambling spot makes less money than the number man these days. And again, it makes less money because there's other ways for people to make money out here, like YouTube and print-on-demand books. And those who, again, can find other ways to make money ain't thinking about going to no casino to blow all they've got on some game where the game is rigged. And this whole proposal, again, shows how Jay-Z really isn't about black people, and again, is the type of sellout that we really need to avoid. I mean, Jay-Z, as the people call him, is nothing more than a sellout, again, selling out the black community, and now he's trying to go out here and will, again, basically sacrifice good morals to basically be in with the white community. So basically, this bootlick shows us he's not for black people, and he's a clear and present danger to foundational black Americans. No, he's a clear and present danger because he'll do anything for a dollar and has no moral compass whatsoever. That's what makes this guy completely disgusting to me. That's why I call him Greasy, because, again, this isn't about him being an entertainer. It's about him exploiting our community and again exploiting our community, and again looking to get things at other people's expense. It's all about him having his. He's the textbook definition of what I mean by I got mine, screw you. And he'll screw anybody just so he can go out here and have some money in his pocket at the expense of everyone else. I mean, this is the worst part about drug dealers is, again, they don't care about nobody. And Greasy was a former drug dealer, so he has no regard for anyone. And that's what makes him a special brand of monster. And again, not a person of good moral character. Because if you look to bring gambling to a community, again, you're not a person of good character at all, as I see it. And when I look at Greasy's record, again, this is a guy who I would not want anything to do with whatsoever, and I wouldn't want anything to do with any sort of casino. I mean, I've lived in New York for over 52 years, my entire life, and I've seen this city at its worst. And what is even worse about the city is if we brought casinos to this city, the city would be going right back to the dark days of the 1970s and 1980s. I mean, the casinos basically would open the door for the adult theaters, open the door for strip clubs, open the door for all of the sleaze that I basically went and saw on my way to high school when I was going to Park West from 1987 to 1990, and open up the door for an entire new generation to experience the nightmare that was the grim and gritty dark days of New York. Now, if you want to pick up one of my books that goes in depth into those dark days of New York, you can pick up my novel, Spellbound, which shows you how the city was a complete horror story from that time period of 1989, and show you what life was like in that dark time, and show you how bad things were in that era where crack basically was king, and people were basically killing each other, all for these crack rocks, and again, making life a living hell for everybody who lived in this city, and again, caught up in a spellbound mindset where they thought more about fitting into the world of white people, like the way Greasy wants to fit into the world of white people and fit themselves into a black box that's acceptable to white people, all without regarding the black people around them. I go in depth on that in my novel, Spellbound, and you can pick up that novel on Amazon.com. in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it at other online booksellers like Drafted Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos like this one that was requested by a viewer, you can, again, drop a donation for a minimum of $15 to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA, from the Black Boule, in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available on Lulu, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at lulu.com today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed, all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.